I'm Cosmic Conroy, and you are very welcome to this, the Bitcoin Tarot podcast for the week starting the 27th of July 2018, where we ask the question, is technical analysis any better than reading a tarot? Last week, the cards said that Bitcoin would rise in dominion over the alts. So what happened? Let's go over to Charting Chad for this week's chart report. Thanks, Conroy. It's been an exciting week in crypto this week. If you looked at the US this week, you'd have seen the Senate and the Congress. They were doing some hearings on cryptocurrencies. Massive confederacy of dunces as far as I could see. None of them seemed to make any sense, with the exception of the odd one or two who are mostly invested in ICO companies. So, also this week, Tezos, their blockchain, was released into the wild. They're no longer in control of it. The community has taken control, so well done to them. After all their legal troubles, they deserve a bit of a break. China was also threatening to shut down miners this week. It seems like they only want you to mine in China if you give them their cut. So, not nice to be Chinese. How's that all affected the price? Well, as you can see here, this is what the price looked like last week, and the tarot forecast was that Bitcoin has got virtue and will rise in dominance against the alts, whereas I said that we're expecting a boost, but probably no more than around 8k. Then here's what happened to the price. What happened to the price is, it went along for a bit, then went up with a bit of a boost, peaked at around 8k, just over 8k, and then has fallen a little bit since. The judges have given me a grade A, and you a grade A+. Now, why is that, you may think? Why? It's because you mentioned dominance, and as we can see here, this is the dominance index of Bitcoin compared to all the other currencies, and this is what it was doing up until last week. And then this week, this is what it did. Shot up a good 5%. So, that's a good win for you, Conroy.
The win is for the cards. I just interpret.
Yeah, well, whatever, Conroy. That leaves us both with a B- as our grade average. So it's neck and neck. Looking at this week's charts then. If we look at the weekly charts, we can see that the price has gone up through the 128-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average has started to trend upwards. So even though the averages are still in maximum bearish configuration, we are starting to see some signs that that might change soon. Adding in a bit of markup, we see that we're inside a triangle formed by the three peaks at the top there and the straight base at the bottom. Are we likely to get out of that triangle? Well, maybe not this week. I think probably we'll stay within that triangle for this week at least. Moving down to the daily candles, we can see that it's just been the last couple of days since we reached the peak and bounced possibly from the 200-day. It's around that sort of area, certainly. We've still got to pass that 200-day and the downtrend in order to go much further upwards. Adding a bit of markup to that, we can see this has been quite a very strong uptrend that we've had. Very steep line there, passed comfortably through the prior high and also through the 128-day moving average. That's very strong for Bitcoin. Likely to stay in this triangle though, I think, because we've got the 200-day moving average and the triangle top on the top of us, and underneath us we've got that prior support line and also the 128-day moving average. So looking at the hourly candles, we can see even though we've got this bit of a bull flag, if we bounce up from it as expected, we'll likely hit the 200 or the downslope and then go back down. But on the other hand, if we go down from this current little pennant and we'll probably hit the bottom of the prior support, or if not that, then the 128-day. So all in all, we're likely to be squeezed between these two moving averages, staying roughly level over the week. So with that, my reading out the way, now back to you, Conroy, for the tarot report.
Thanks, Chad. Exciting that we're neck and neck. Let's see if the cards can pull ahead this week. We'll do our usual 4-card spread, with the first card representing the last 7 days in Bitcoin, the second card representing the current moment in Bitcoin, the third card will represent the future, and the fourth and final card gives us an overall causality, a reason for the timeline. So let's begin with our first card. Our first card represents the last 7 days in Bitcoin, and that card is the 9 of Swords, Cruelty. This clearly represents the cruelty that Bitcoin exercised over the alts as it rose in dominion over the last 7 days. let's find out what the next card brings. Our next card represents the current moment in Bitcoin, and that card is the Two of Cups, known as love. We're all feeling the love this week, I think, as Bitcoin has risen in price and many people think the downtrend is over and we're back into a bull market. I wonder if the love will continue into the next week. Let's check out with our third card. Our third card represents the future, the next 7 days in Bitcoin. This is the one people get excited about. And the future of Bitcoin will be the Four of Wands. Completion. Note the circle of life on this card, implying that as things end, other things begin. This card perhaps represents a completion of the current upcycle, the market cycle. Perhaps our love will come to an end. That would be sad. But let's find out why with our last card. Our final card represents an overall causality, a reason for this timeline to exist. And that card is the Ten of Trumps, a major arcana card known as Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, another card with the Wheel of Life on it. It seems that normal market cycles are the reason for this timeline to exist. So the meaning of the reading becomes clear. Market cycles have meant that the alts have been cruel this last week, whereas Bitcoin has received the love. But this cycle will be complete soon. The wheel keeps turning, and this current upcycle is at completion. That's the end of our reading for this week. We'd like to do a longer one and focus on something other than price, or perhaps some altcoins. But alas, we're all too poor. If you'd like to help fix that, here's a Bitcoin address. If Bitcoin are in the lead when we reach the end of the fundraising drive, we'll do no altcoin related readings at all. On the other hand, if Ethereum are in the lead, and they are at the moment, we'll do an Ethereum related side reading. Here's your Ethereum address. Taking up second place, here's Ethereum Classic. If Ethereum Classic are in the lead, we'll do some issue related to them when we get to the end of the fundraising cycle. And finally, here's Bcash. If Bcash are in the lead when we get to the end of the fundraising cycle, we'll do a side reading on block size or some other Bitcoin Cash related issue. We're just 3% of the show funded so far, so it's all still to play for. And remember, if you can't vote, you can always like or share. In the meantime, until next week, hope you get the love and that completion and Wheel of Circle aren't too hard on us. But in the meantime, may the Bitcoin bless you.